Guys, welcome back to the channel. I don't think I've ever actually told you all about what I do, so I think I'm gonna get into that. So I'm a third year University of Leeds student. However, I'm actually not in my third year. I'm doing a placement year. So because I'm doing a placement year, that basically means I'm working and studying a little bit on the side as well. But the main idea for the placement is to be able to work and get a bit of experience from it, just to get used to working. So I just kind of thought, let me tell you guys about the things I've learned over placement, because people don't really talk much about placement years, because everyone just talks about just getting into work, just trying to work, graduate, get out and work. But there's a reason behind why I thought, oh, let me actually take a placement and see if I like it or not. And that I have been on placement for about a decent 6-7 months in now. So it's currently March, and my placement started in August last year. So my placement should end in August as well. So I've only got 4 months left. So the clock is ticking. This is the best point to really reflect back on everything that I've learned across the placement. So let's get right into it. I'm gonna tell you guys 3 things that I've learned during my placement. Number 1, the grind does not stop when you get the placement. Oh my god, University of Leeds. I feel like uni is already so tough and difficult, and then having to find a placement during your second year of uni. I do accounting and finance, and I won't say it's an easy course. It's not easy. It's not overly hard or too hard or anything like that, but it's definitely not easy and straightforward. Sometimes I find it quite difficult. But during the second year of uni, you really need a lot of time. I'd say you need a lot of time, because it gets hard, because that's the first year where the grades you get actually matter, because in first year whatever you get doesn't really matter, but in second year and third year, that's what makes your grade, whether you get like a first class or a 2-1, 2-2 or whatever. So around that time for second year, things were getting hard and tough, and the kind of finance isn't easy, so it just kept getting harder and harder. And then around that October, November, December time, we're also meant to find placements, because that's the time when you're meant to secure your placement. Oh my god, it was so hard to find placement. And then I eventually got one, luckily, towards the start of the next year. So when it came to exams, I was a bit more relaxed, knowing fully well that, oh, I've secured a placement in I secured it in Jan, Feb. Knowing fully well that, okay, in about August, September, I'll have a placement year, so I can really concentrate on my exams, because exams around that time, exams in uni are about May, June. So in my mind, I was thinking, oh, I've gotten a placement, it's all done, I can relax. I can actually relax with the placement. No, the grind does not stop. It really doesn't. Because there's so many things you need to find out. You need to find out whether you want to go back there to work. You also need to find out, because apart from going back there, how do you even get back in? You need to go through another assessment center to get back in. That's how most jobs work these days. So you have an assessment just to get the placement, which is already kind of hard. And then once you've secured the placement, you need to go through another assessment, go through more interviews to actually get the graduate role, because that's the aim, isn't it? You want to get the graduate role. So, oh my goodness, the grind really doesn't stop. You're actually working a 9 to 5. You need to be up at 9 or 8 whenever you're meant to start, and be done at 5, 6 p.m. To be fair, the time right now is about 6:30. I finished about 30 minutes ago. I finished at 6. So the grind really doesn't stop, and you're actually doing things that are how do I explain it? It actually matters. What you do actually matters. It's either helping people or it's gonna not help people, so you actually need to put in the effort and get the work done. So the grind really doesn't stop when you secure a placement. There's so much more that you need to do. There's so much more that you need to learn as well. You need to get qualified. You need to go through training and the likes. I'm not saying it's very hard. Placement isn't very hard, but what I'm trying to say is it just doesn't stop. Okay, so there's more to go. You need to keep putting in the effort to get to that level, and to get to the level you want to get to, basically. Okay, number 2, your role is temporary. Don't get too comfortable. Okay, why did I say that? So I'm saying your role is temporary because it's a placement year. You're literally only there for 1 year. So you need to make the most out of your year. But at the same time, it's easy to feel comfortable, where you've been there a month, 2 months, 3 months, the routine tasks, you already know what to do. So they start feeling a bit mundane, you just do it and then you're done with the day. But the thing is, you should never really feel too comfortable. You should always try your best to like do a bit better. Does that make sense? Always try your best to do a bit better and to really understand why you're doing what you're doing. And by feeling comfortable, I mean just not trying. Because as much as you've already gotten your placement year and it's easy to feel relaxed and just take it as it goes, at the same time, there's some extras that you still need to do. You still need to network per se, you know, because how are you going to get back in? You need to know people, you need to speak with people, you need to meet other placement students, meet your boss. You need to ask the right questions as well. So it really doesn't just stop with getting the job and just working the 9 to 5. There's still a bit more that you need to put in. You need to, like what I've done, star technique and the likes. You need to get back to like how you're gonna answer assessment centers when the questions come along in interviews and the likes. So there's so much more involved, and it's easy to just be comfortable and just let it slide, like, oh, it's all right, let me just finish my placement and I'll deal with that later. No, you gotta deal with it as you're there. You know what I mean? Because like for me, I'm done in August and my assessment center is gonna be in about October. That's literally like a month, 2 months where you can easily forget everything you've done. It's easy to forget. It's easy to forget. And when you feel comfortable, you forget. When you feel comfortable, you forget. But when you stay on top of things, you're more likely to document and keep these records with yourself, just so that when the time comes and you need to answer these assessment questions, these interview questions that are really, really tough and annoying, you know what to say because of what you've documented, because you never stayed comfortable. You were always on top of it throughout the placement year. So that's what I would say. Keep networking, keep asking the right questions, keep putting yourself out there and trying to get the fullest of your placement experience, because there's only 1 year. You need to really find out whether or not you want to stay in that company or you want to leave. And that's the goal of the placement. Guys, number 3 is you got to make sure you're having fun. I know I mentioned earlier that stay on top of things, you know, don't be complacent and the likes, but at the same time, you need to have fun. You really need to learn how to keep that work-life balance. You need to get that work-life balance spot on for yourself, because work-life balance is different from person to person. And you really need to find out what works best for yourself. For me, sometimes I go through these busy periods and then I go through these periods that I'm a bit more relaxed. And I've found a balance that works with me where I'm able to, you know, go to work, I can go to the gym, I can still hang out with my friends, I can still find time to study. By study, I mean for like interview questions and applications and the likes for the graduate role when I want to come back. So I'm able to balance my life according to all these different things that I juggle around. Also a bit of social media as well, because I've recently started social media, clearly. So I've been able to balance this work-life balance. So I know exactly how much time I want to spend at work and how much time I want to spend out of work, because you're more than just your work. There's so much more to people than what they do for a 9 to 5. Different things that interest you and different things that excite you. So you really need to find out what you as a person find fun. So you need to try your best to make your work fun for you. You start working your 9 to 5 on placement, and then you find out that, okay, I don't really like this. This is not fun. This is not my definition of fun, and I hate doing this. Spot on. You found it. You don't want to do what you've got on placement. What do you do now? You complete your placement and you move out. You find a different job role. That's the whole point of the placement, to find out what you like. What's the point in doing what you do if you actually don't even like it? And that's the whole point of placement, to figure that out. So you need to make sure you're constantly reflecting on what you're doing and seeing whether or not you actually like what you do. That's the whole point of placement. At the same time, I feel like you need to give your job a chance. You need to hang out with your workmates, you need to be more networking, speaking with people around you, really trying to delve into what the job role is and the placement and where you work. Give it a chance. You know, it's easy to just be like, yeah, this is shit, I don't want to do it anymore. But you need to give it a chance, okay? And find out whether you love it or not. Try your best to enjoy what you do. Where I work, we do loads of away days in different locations, London, Manchester, all across the country. I find so much joy in just being out of the office, you know, just relaxing on the train ride down to London. But that's my definition of fun right now, and that's what I enjoy. I enjoy doing what I do, learning a bit of programming, learning a bit of coding, learning a bit of stats because I'm a statistician. So you really need to find out what you like in what you do and what you don't like. You need to try your best to have some fun. Thank you guys for watching this YouTube video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions about my placement, what I do, University of Leeds, just let me know down in the comments below.